Hello viewers. The number of people have asked me before whether I can live anywhere else outside Los Angeles. The answer is no. Capital no. I'll tell you why. Los Angeles is the base for many nationals all over the world. There are over 70-something nationals that call Los Angeles home. So wherever you're coming from, I'm sure you're going to have your base here. But then, there's serious diversity in culture. And this is what we want to discuss today. Now, my friends who have been here before for some time to answer a few questions concerning the sociocultural diversity in Los Angeles. Can you start by introducing yourself, sir?
Oh, my name is Durojaye Owaje. I'm a retired social worker.
Sorry, how long have you been here?
This year will be 44 years in Los Angeles.
44 years. You should be a mayor.
44 years.
44. You should be a mayor now. All right. Okay.
Hi, guys. My name is Vanessa Wanzer. I'm a creative professional. I've been in Los Angeles for about 4 years this year.
4 years this year. Okay. Excellent.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Wabi, and I'm a student pursuing my master's in teaching at USC.
How long have you been here?
I was born here.
Whoa, okay, all right. All right, sir.
Hi, my name is Bala Musa. I'm a professor of communication studies at Azusa Pacific University. I've lived in Los Angeles for the past 15 years, thereabout, but I've lived in the United States for about 27 years.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much. So let's go. Let me start with you, sir. You've been here for 40-something years, you said. What struck you when you came in? What did you observe? What did you notice?
Oh, I was very young when I came out. I was about 22 years old, and I was just fascinated by Los Angeles. I've been hearing about Los Angeles a lot in Nigeria, and I came for education, thinking I would spend 4 years. And I've been here 44 years.
4 years, 44 years. Yes. So why did you get stuck here? Why did you decide to stay here?
The weather. I've been to other parts, visited other parts. This weather is just too good to be true. Compared with the other Chicago, New York, and I don't like many to put myself in to my difficulty. I like it very easy.
So tell our people, how did you acclimatize? I mean, I'm sure you noticed some changes from the way Nigeria was at the time you came and the way you found things here.
Yeah, when we came to here, when you send a letter home, you have to wait 3 weeks for the letter to get there, another 3 weeks for you to go back. But things have changed now. You can easily get Nigeria in 2 seconds on the computer or on your phone. Then to eat Nigerian food, you have to bring it from Nigeria.
Wow.
You don't see all these things. But now everybody, you eat eba, you do everything here. So the world is closer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Vanessa, what's your experience?
My experience in Los Angeles, it's been fun so far. I didn't really have a lot of culture shock coming here. I know when I first came, a lot of people would ask, okay, what's the culture shock you experienced? And I'm like, I didn't really experience a lot. And that's because of entertainment, because my generation were more opportune to have, get to see things on social media or watch movies that by the time I got here, it wasn't so different. But I would say one thing that I really, not a culture shock, but something that really struck out to me was how diverse Los Angeles was, the culture. And it's so interesting because you're in America, but you could walk down the street and you could get Korean food that's mixed with Mexican food, and it's all interesting.
And Nigerian food also.
And Nigerian food also, yeah. So that's interesting.
Annie, you are born here.
Yes.
Have you been to Nigeria before?
I have been to Nigeria before.
So how did you perceive the two different societies, environments?
I'm not going to lie. When I first went, I was about 14. I think the first day I cried because it was a big shock for me. We were sitting in the living room and the lights just turned off and everyone was like, oh, NEPA. And we're like, so is someone going to turn the light back on? So it was definitely, it took a little getting used to, but it was a good experience, I would say.
How about you learned a song when you went to Nigeria?
I did.
I need you to sing that song for me here at this point. Yes, what was the song?
Pastor, you always do
I
this for
want
me.
that song, please.
Okay. Imagine that. Àfi bàtò ṣe dandan pé kò ṣe mọ́. Imagine that. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo ìfẹ́ tí mo ti fi fún. Imagine that. Kí ló fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi tó bá lọ. Imagine that. Tó bá lọ. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Imagine that. Why were you so fascinated with that song when you went to Nigeria?
You know, I think it was the beat. It was very catchy, and I think it was like young boys who were singing the song at the time, so it was always on the radio when we were in the car, and we just loved it. Yeah.
Would you like to live in Nigeria?
I would like to vacation there.
Leave. That's very smart. That's very smart. I don't blame you. But I've also experienced.
Well, I've lived in the three main geographical areas of the United States. Mm-hmm. So I came in 1994 to go to school.
Okay.
And I came to Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is on the East Coast.
All right.
And then I taught for about 7 years in the Midwest, Iowa. And this was very rural Iowa.
Okay.
And then I came here in Los Angeles in 2006. So I've experienced the three main regions. And so when we talk about Los Angeles, coming here, the main culture shock will be the sharp contrast between living in the Midwest, very rural, very long, brutal winters.
And this is US, yes.
Yes, fairly very homogeneous society that we lived in, and then coming to Los Angeles, which is almost semi-tropical weather, very diverse in culture, as you all have identified, and most bustling, very fast-paced. And so those have been kind of the differences that one has witnessed. As far as the culture shock, just the pace of life, here is more laid back. A lot of other areas that one has lived in, people are very much more straightforward and very rigid and direct the way they do things.
Well, yeah.
Yes, it's a little bit more casual. It's a little bit more laid back.
More relaxed, more casual.
Yes.
People make friends easily.
Easily,
Okay.
that's it.
Let's look at one or two issues. Let's look at the vocabulary, the language. How are you guys able to cope? Because when I got here, I discovered that I need to begin to learn different vocabularies for different things. For example, what we call the bonnet of a vehicle.
Oh.
Has a different language, has a different vocabulary. What was that vocabulary called?
Okay, I don't know about the bonnet, but I know about the trunk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
we call
The boot. The boot of the car.
The boot. Boot of a shoe. Okay, so how did you cope? How did you cope with those kind of changes?
It was interesting. I had to consciously learn certain words, like certain vocabulary, like you mentioned. One of the interesting ones was the spelling, especially because
spelling.
we were taught in like the British curriculum, and then like for color we use the U, and then here I have to consciously remove the U. Yeah, and that was interesting. That was quite interesting for me. Okay, the thing about the boot, the first time I got into an Uber and I'm like, my equipment is in the boot. And he's like, what? I'm like, it's in your boot. And he's like, excuse me. I was like, sorry, in your trunk. And he's like, oh, okay.
I think
You have to say lorry.
what was that to remember is the hood.
Oh, yeah, the hood,
And the bonnet.
Bonnet.
So, how did you cope? Because I even understand that some of these languages or accents, they change from region to region.
Yes. As I just mentioned, in terms of one place being more formal and one being informal, in the South, which is a little bit east but south also, people tend to be much more formal in their language. They will address you as sir and ma, and they want it to be more proper.
Wow.
Now, having lived in Nigeria, I came with more of British vocabulary.
Okay, yeah.
And I teach intercultural communication now to my students, and I tell them a lot of my bloopers coming in terms of the way we things translate, or the way we communicate in cultures that are we have a more high power distance culture. And so people tend to be more casual, call you by first name, are more indirect in the US generally, but it varies. Even the use of terms. One example was when my friend, he said, let's meet after church on Sunday for supper. And I said, I think he said for dinner. And I thought myself, what time does your church close? and so as we were conversing, I realized that, okay, down there in Virginia Beach, they have breakfast, they have a dinner, and then they have supper. And we're used to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So when he said we'll meet after church for dinner, I was, at what time are we going to meet for dinner? So lots of those kinds of things. And just from, when we go to the Midwest, all right, what is soda, what is pop? They are referring to the same thing, but they're using different terms. Even within the United States.
Yeah, also I noticed that when I got here, people talk about college. College to us in Nigeria was high school, grammar school, and things like that. But here, college is university, first degree.
But some people, when you refer to college, they mean junior college, because when you tell me you are in a college, usually I think in terms of junior college, not university. So I don't know about others.
Yeah, in Nigeria, the teachers' college will be secondary school. Government college will be secondary school.
That's it.
So when we refer to, I thought in the Midwest, at Northwestern College was the name of the school. So people will be thinking maybe you're teaching in secondary school as opposed to a tertiary institution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about dressing. I just, sometimes when I look at myself over the years, I said, if I go to Nigeria and dress the way I dress here now, people say, that man has stayed long in the US. Look at him dressed like Okoro, jeans and, what do you think?
Or shorts, because I wear a lot of shorts in Nigeria.
I think the dressing, the mode of dressing here is it's casual, it's, and it's very easy. It's something that you're used to. But back home, we're used to very formal like outfits. Even when you go to church, when you're going to, I don't have the word right now to explain it. But then it's different. It's quite different. Like here, you can, if you're going to maybe like a meeting, you can actually dress casually and wear some nice boots and stuff. But if you're in Nigeria, you have to wear like proper dress shoes, possibly a suit. You're probably wearing corporate. So
despite the weather.
Despite the
weather over there.
So
I think you can also see the difference between the way Nigerians dress and the way Americans dress. Because just by going to a wedding, have you been to an American wedding? They're more casual. I remember the first time I went, I was like, she's wearing that to a wedding. And Nigerian weddings, we really dress up, we show up. So you can really see the difference there.
When I'm going to church back home, my dad wants you to be formally dressed. And here you see people wearing jeans to church. I can see my dad just slapping you.
That's also interesting. But people say America is a dressed-down community. Is that true?
Yes, it is. You see Mark, what's the Facebook guy?
Mark Zuckerberg.
He would be in a T-shirt, and I'm sure in Nigeria that would be a Dangote with all the suits. We are just a formal society. And it projects who you are in Nigeria.
I'm thinking that it depends on the economic level you find yourself. Because I think that in America, the people in the middle class, generally, they appear to be more dressed down. But the people in the corporate world, even though they're dressed down, you still see a tint of formality in the dressed down thing we're talking about. And now I notice, anytime you travel and you fly maybe first class, for example, you look at the people the way in the first class, compared to the way the people who are in the economic class, the way they are dressed. There's still something extraordinary that raises awareness about appearance. What do you think? Look at our profession now. without anybody saying it. If somebody
the
say
professor.
who is the professor among them, they're going to point at you. Well, what if from your what you have to say about dressing inside in America?
For me, it's a combination of many factors, as you have identified. So for some people, their way of life, they're just more comfortable on aggregate to be informal, to be casual in the way that they dress. Now, some cultures, and what I mean by that is whether it's corporate culture or community culture, people expect you to present yourself in a particular way. It makes room for how others will approach you, others. You know that in this culture there is the whole controversy of whether somebody is wearing a hoodie, how that person will be perceived. If somebody has their pants hanging down, how that person is going to be perceived. So it has all this dynamic that goes with it. But I think I have found it quite difficult to adjust to fully the American or even California casual, as we call it, because having been raised in Nigeria, when I came to pursue higher education, I would be more formal dressed than my professors in the class. And even here, sometimes I remember one time I was entering the church and one of the associate pastors said, "Are you preaching today?" You know, because I was so formally dressed. I find it, even in my place of work, I'm probably among the very few in my department that are constantly coming in jacket, suit, or with a tie. And I find that to be more my comfort level. When my friend invited us to their Thanksgiving once, they saw that my wife and I were the ones that came very formally dressed. and so the next time the invited said, come casual, you know. so it's a matter of comfort level. And also a matter of the environment in which you find yourself and who you're going to meet, who you're going to hang out with, those kinds of things.
I agree with you.
When I was teaching the college, I'm fond of bow tie. And I put my bow tie there and see everybody started looking at me, you know, secretly. But by the time I did 3 years in that college, a number of people in that faculty, they started wearing bow ties. Started wearing bow tie. And there's a measure of respect that people give you outside. When somehow they see you or you are differently dressed, maybe formally and that kind of thing. What's your experience? It's like you are in the profession of photography, right?
Yeah.
Advertising also.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your experience like?
My experience.
For example, if you drop down like this in Nigeria, the police may say, "Come here."
Exactly. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. There's a high potential that they'll stop me and be like, "Okay, what do you do?" So, for me, especially with work that I do on the side of photography, I mean, I can go to work. I can go with as casual as I want to, but still stylish. And then with work that I do, if I were working in such a company in Nigeria, I'm definitely going to be wearing corporate outfits and stuff. But I mean, at work, I can wear jeans. I can go to work like this, or if I want to dress down, probably a hoodie and sweats. And I can still go to work and still be respected, because I think in this community, people respect and value you based on the value that you bring, not necessarily.
Thank you so much. That's absolutely. Let's move to something slightly different. When I came from Nigeria, our customs there is for you to build a house with your money or buy your car with your money. But I got here and things are different. You may own a house that's not yours. That's not yours for 25, 30 years. You may have a car that's not yours for 5, 6 years until you finish paying the car note. Even if you are in the first year and you default, can be repossessed. Maybe speak to that.
I'm actually really happy you brought that up, because I just paid off my car, so I own my own car. So yes, thank you. But that's absolutely true. You know, that's all I've known. And so, for example, my mom was telling me about somebody's rent that they were paying for the year in Nigeria. And it was about, I think, $1,200. And I was like, wow, they pay for the year and they're just done and it's theirs. But here, you know, we have our monthly payments and it's never really yours. I think that it works based on, you know, how much we make and whatnot. And it kind of gives you the ability to change things up if you decide that, you know, I don't like this car anymore. Let me try a different car. I want to move to a different neighborhood. So I do like that.
Wow. Bala, you experienced that owning properties and things at home, different from here. What's your experience?
So let me share one of those instances that of culture shock and bloopers that I share with my students. When I came as a graduate student and we were in the graduate student housing, and I was thinking about the value of the naira that I had in Nigeria. So when I came and they told me how much I was going to pay for my rent, and I paid that amount, I thought about it in terms of the naira value, and I paid the first payment for the month. I thought that was my payment for the year. So when I thought about its value in naira, it was a huge amount in naira terms. So when the next month came, they were asking for my rent. I was like, what? I paid my rent, So yeah, over there, you need to pay the full month because of trust. We don't have the whole credit system. There's no guarantee that a person is going to be paying on an ongoing basis. So many of the landlords expect and prefer that people pay them in bulk for the period. This question of being a credit culture, it has strengthened the American economy, allow people to afford things that on their own they're not able to afford, but also they make a lot of money on the interest that you pay. Whatever you are being told that this is the money you are paying, if you calculate the interest, it's going, at the end of the day, you are paying 3, 4, 5 times what you are actually committed to. So people think that the third world cultures are actually richer because people can afford those things.
Yeah.
They own those houses, they own those cars and whatever they have. Therefore, those are richer economies than economies that are living on credit. However, in terms of opportunities or in terms of businesses growing, the businesses rely on the fact that people can be given credit, and as a result of that, the businesses can proliferate.
Thank you, sir. I want you to address something now. This is my experience. I got to the US. And because we are used to just pay what they want to pay, I wanted an apartment. And I was told that they needed a credit history. I didn't have a credit history. I didn't have a social security number. I said, so how much is it per month? They told me 1,200. I said, okay, I don't have all this you're asking, but I can pay for a whole year. I had the money to pay for it. They said, no, we don't want you to pay for a whole year. We expect you to put down the deposit and the first month. And then, without security, without a social security number, without credit history, it was difficult for me to get a house. How does one cope with that kind of thing?
When we came, we didn't have most of our papers then. So
no papers.
No papers. Most of us came as visitors. So
and you are still visiting after 40 years.
Oh, thank God! Now we are citizens.
Amen.
Yeah, but. When we are there, you met people here who have gone through all that, so they were able to put us through. Yeah, some of them have built their own credibility with the landlords and all this, and so they were able to pull us in.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
And you can see the Mexicans or people coming from, they do all that too through communal things.
So if people get together communally, they can be able to help each other.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to another area. Food. When I got here, I starved. I starved because what they call food for me, it wasn't really food, so to say. But now, it is food. Food. How did you cope?
Thankfully, when I came here, I already knew that there were some African stores because I although here in LA, it's the Nigerian food places not as developed as maybe like New York or like other places here. But good thing is I can cook. You know where to buy food stuff. You make your African food, and if you want to hang out with friends, you can. It was very difficult for me to build my taste buds.
Yeah.
Because most of the foods that are here, especially coming from Nigeria, they're acquired taste. There are a couple, contemporary dishes that you've probably eaten before in Nigeria, and you have an idea of what they taste like. But, for example, pad thai, it's still very difficult for me to eat. Pad thai. So I think my first experience wasn't the best experience. And so I'm like, okay, let me just stay away from that. But I still... I pick foods that are closer to African foods now.
Me too.
Like Mexican, Thai food, and all.
After 40 years?
Yes, even when I go out with my family, they all want to eat European food. I'm always just begging, let's get back home so I can eat my
Any, how do you cope with Nigerian food when you went to Nigeria? Or how do your parents cope? You are your parents, how do you cope?
Well, I will first say that I really began to appreciate Nigerian food when I went to college because I didn't have it as much and I just had pizza and burgers and, that's how Freshman 15 happened. But I didn't really value jollof rice and stew and everything until college. So I will say that. But Nigerian food in Nigeria was fantastic. Amen. And I had bushmeat for the first time. Oh. It was really good. It didn't look good, but it tasted really great. So, yes.
We are blessed today. Blessed. As we are having this discussion, one of my sisters came in, and I discovered that she too has stayed in this nation for a long time. So I brought her in. Shola, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name is Shola Ayodele, and I have been in the United States, sad to say, 41 years.
Oh, so. 41 years, okay.
Yes.
44, 41, go ahead.
And I currently live here in the United States, but I came to... I really came to the United States to go to college, and initially, the average Nigerian, when you finish your graduation, you go back home. Yeah. So when I finished my first degree, I did go back home. I packed everything. But while I was home, probably within the first 6 months, I got a letter from my university when I had applied to graduate school, and they had offered me a graduate assistantship. Okay. And so it was free college. I got to work, go to school for free.
You're blessed.
And so I returned only not to go back. So here I am.
That's interesting. That's a fantastic story. You are blessed. You are blessed. So how did you eventually cope with things like dressing, food, etc.?
Getting dressed was not completely different from what I would say I used to wear in Nigeria. I still valued my Nigerian attire, the iro and the buba, but it wasn't something I wore all the time. And then as a student, when we would have International Day, I got to wear my Nigerian attire. But other than that, going to school was the jeans, the shirts, the blouses. And I came here through Indiana, so it was a cold area, so it was sweaters and all those other kind of attire. But I wear Nigerian attire, and I think from when I came here to where we are right now, there has been a big difference in how, I don't want to call it a true assimilation, but a little bit of acceptance, probably more acceptance in terms of how we value people from other cultures. In some areas, in some other areas, it looks like it's not. But it's still not unusual for us to go somewhere and they'll ask you, what's your costume? It's like, it's not a costume. Yeah, it's an attire.
It's attire. So, okay, have you lived in Los Angeles all your years in America, or you lived somewhere else?
I lived in Indiana. I went to Indiana State University. So I lived in Indiana, graduated in 83. So I lived in Indiana for about, because I worked in Gary, Indiana. So I did not leave Indiana until 1988. So I lived in Indiana about almost 8 years. And then from 88 till present, I've lived in the Los Angeles area.
Praise God. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
I was beginning to doubt if you guys are still Christians. Let's look at the area of raising kids, raising children here, discipline, schooling, etc. You were raised at least as a kid in Nigeria, right, Shola?
Yeah, part of me. Yeah.
And you were raised as a kid in Nigeria?
Yes, I left Nigeria as an adult.
As an adult, okay.
I had my son when I left Nigeria.
Amen. Okay, so how do you see the difference? What are the differences in raising kids in Nigeria and here?
I think the Nigerian families are definitely more strict when it comes to wanting their children to toe the line. Let me, even before talking about Nigeria, let me make a different contrast. It is said that Americans raise their children to be happy. Mm-hmm. The British raise their children to be well behaved.
Wow.
So when you then extend that to the other end in terms of many developing countries, we raise our children not only to be well behaved, but to be well disciplined.
Oh, combination of the two.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to represent the family well.
Yeah.
So the expectations as far as socialization, upbringing, manners are quite different.
We'd like to address the statement that in Africa or other parts of the world, that the community raises a child.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise.
That kind of
Even
thing.
it affects us here too. Most of our kids, when they see you, they'll call you uncle. They don't even know the difference whether you are a real uncle or just
I'm real.
whether you are blood
I
related.
know. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
Just making
whether
it.
you are blood related. And even with the churches now, we are all like families. So I'm closer to some people in my church than my siblings in Nigeria. So we've all grown up together as families.
I think that works for every community. Like if you see the Indians or the Chinese or the Asians,
Yeah, pretty much
yeah,
immigrant
that's that kind
community.
of
Yes, the immigrant community.
that kind of affinity. Now, I want each of you to tell me one advantage of being here. And I'm coming back to ask for a disadvantage of being here. Let's start with you. Just take a few seconds, sir.
Oh, the advantage of being in America?
Yes.
Oh, there are so many opportunities here compared with Nigeria, where I came from. I couldn't get into a Nigerian university. That's why I was forced to come here. So that was first basic opportunity for me.
But you got the college. Why did you stay? What's holding you
That's
back?
what I'm saying. How many undergraduates in Nigeria now can't find a job, and there are not opportunities. Even with your $1, you know how much will probably pay someone's salary.
Feed somebody all day.
Yeah, so the opportunities are here. We cannot deny that. And
Vanessa.
There are, like you mentioned, there are quite a number of advantages of living here in America and here in Los Angeles. America, like people say, is the land of opportunities, it's the land of flowing with milk and honey. To me, it helps expose my mind. There's so many things that I can think of now and know that I will achieve them, not just because I'm dreaming of it and I can work hard towards it, but because the policies here are welcoming, they're habitable for me to build my dreams. I can have the same dreams in Nigeria, and tomorrow wake up that one policy has been made that would stifle
Change
my growth.
definitely.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, it makes you this environment, especially Los Angeles being a melting pot of different cultures, and you seeing different people from different places become who they want to be or who they dream to be. It gives you a certain level of boldness and confidence to do what you want to do, regardless of where you come from.
Amen.
So.
Shola.
Well, I think there are lots of advantages living here, but I would say healthcare has been one of the greatest ones for me. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I marvel at the anniversary each year of I'm here, I'm standing, and
Healthy,
I know,
healthy, happy, joyful. Amen.
yeah, and I know that those opportunities probably would not have been available to me had I stayed in Nigeria, or I'm sure if I stayed, I probably have been probably shipped somewhere else to go get the treatment. But the fact that I'm here, I have access to it. I'm not saying it doesn't have its own problems, but for me, healthcare was one of the greatest advantages of living here and staying here.
Thank you so much. And we are going to still ask you to say something because you went to Nigeria.
Because I went to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say healthcare, but I think also because I went to Nigeria, just having nice, paved roads where it's, when you're driving, it's not very bumpy and whatnot. So I think that's definitely an advantage. Even just coming here from the valley, I can't imagine if it wasn't as clear as it was.
Yeah. But
So the infrastructure makes a lot of difference, like I just said. And that translates also into efficiency, getting things done and moving fast and getting results and outcome with relatively less effort. I won't call it effort, less strength in getting results and just expecting things to move at a particular pace And you can talk about that, whether it's if you want to travel, when to expect things are going to be delivered, things are going to start and end. All of those things make a lot of difference.
So you can say, I will see you at 2 o'clock, and you can pace yourself. In Nigeria, if you say, I'll see you at 2 o'clock, maybe it's going to be at 10 o'clock.
But here also, the African time syndrome.
So that is a matter of individual orientation as opposed to the system. Because if somebody says this is when the flight is going to take off, or this is when the train is going to come, and these events are going to happen, you will expect that is going to be the case. And it takes a little bit of stress off of you in a way.
Yeah.
There is other kinds of stress that you deal with here that are not based on technology or infrastructure.
For me, relatively speaking, is security.
Oh, yeah.
Security. I mean, before I left Nigeria, with my 5 daughters in the house, my wife also being there, me being the only man, I had to get a gun. I had a double-barrel gun. Because people can just come to the house and attack you and things like that. And I said, I will be caught dead. Any man raping my wife or my children. So, but here, so in Nigeria, I could hardly sleep for more than 2-3 hours at night. I was in night guard. But here, I could sleep anywhere. Here, I could drive from Los Angeles to San Francisco in the middle of the night without any fear or anything. Although, when you look at the Black Lives Matter syndrome, you still know that there's still some danger. But it's nowhere compared to what we're talking about in Africa. So we are grateful to that.
Oh, yes.
Now, let's now look at the other side. Bala, what is it about this community that you think is a negative?
So I would say that it's the other side, because the technology, the precision, the efficiency comes at a price, in the sense of the humaneness that sometimes has to be sacrificed to get this system moving at the pace it moves. Wow. In terms of your compassion, in terms of your care for humans. Let's go back to the issue of the healthcare, for instance. The healthcare system, it has the resources, has the ability, but you have to be able to afford. And so people who can get things done, we sacrifice over there the efficiency in terms of navigating the system, even manipulating the system to bend your way. And so then the system begins to collapse. Here it needs to function effectively, and that means sometimes you have to sacrifice your compassion, what you can do for your fellow human being. The system doesn't allow you to do that.
I get you. That's true. All right. Annie?
I'd say for me, a disadvantage of being here is, I think, the lack of familial support. I really have always wanted that whole grandma, grandpa, relationship where I can, just really get to know them. Yes. And I never really got that, or, just going out with cousins on a regular basis. So I would definitely say that's a disadvantage.
Wow. Maybe.
I would say I'll kind of concur with you. Having children here, one of the things that I think I missed, I have 2 daughters. One has a tendency to understand and try and speak a language. I have one that, on the other hand, now she wishes she got it. And I know, had I raised them in Nigeria and they had that babysitter, grandma, cousins who speak that language, I know for me, my children would have spoken more Yoruba than they actually do right now. I am aware also that we have Nigerians in Nigeria whose children do not speak the language, but I know for me, my children would have spoken Yoruba had we lived in that kind of environment.
Yeah, that's sad, because raising children up in Nigeria, we thought we were sophisticated.
Yes.
We thought we were rich. So speaking English was a normal thing to us, was the key thing, It's here that people are now beginning to learn the language.
Yeah, one major disadvantage that I would say is habits, especially financial habits, because of how liberal the society is here and how affordable you can get things. So far as you're working month to month and you can make monthly payments. I think I'm speaking from my generation and from my perspective, it's made people from my generation very impatient, and certain habits they've picked, like most people now, if someone loses their job now, most times they don't even have savings for 6 months straight. Wow. Most people have high, a high debt in terms of like credit So because it's a credit based system,
yes.
and so you see that in the next in like 5 years, people are owing more than they can pay, and they're constantly spending their credit card, and no one builds better financial habits. Everybody wants to afford a particular style of living, but they can't really afford it. They're just paying for it. But if you were living in Nigeria, I mean, it's what you have that you used to afford, and if you need to afford it, you have to work harder. So I think that's one disadvantage.
Nice observation. Yes, sir.
I think raising children here is a bit stressful. Compare with Nigeria, where your sister or your son can pick up the kids from school.
Okay.
And the disciplining children here too, compare with Nigeria. Although they say it's self-abuse, but we were raised with Canaan. If you let it get away from you,
it's biblical.
If you see kids who they've allowed to get away with a lot of, you see drugs, a lot of Nigerians, maybe you don't see them around, but a lot of kids who have gone into drugs and other things.
Thank you so much. Now that we're talking about family, let's talk about husband and wife. The concept of husband and wife in Africa and Nigeria seems to be slightly different from here, even though we know what the Bible says. Talk to me about that, being a married man.
I don't see much difference having married a Nigerian lady.
Okay.
Yeah, so because we still have the family system, the mother in Nigeria and all those things that are still...
But your wife is able to send you out to go and buy something.
Oh, definitely.
But
people are doing that in Nigeria too now.
Now, yes, because in Nigeria, by the time you left Nigeria, there are so many helps. Yes. The driver, you have a houseboy, you have everything.
No, but if I move to Nigeria, I don't think I'll be employing a lot of houseboys, especially with all these things that I'm saying no.
Now that's husband and wife. Okay, how about dating here? Did you date in Nigeria before?
Yes.
And dated here also?
Yes.
Okay, tell us the difference.
I think that's more of a cultural thing, because back you have like the mindset that there are particular things that guys would do that women shouldn't do. Like okay, for instance, in Nigeria, the society, if a woman is asking the guy out or initiating the move, she's seen in a bad way.
Yeah.
But here, I mean, it's casual. Like if I think most guys actually would like if a woman walks up to them like, okay, I like you, and blah blah blah, and they whatever, however it goes for them. It's easy. It's you don't have any tag or label, any negative label if you're the one moving towards the guy. And then there's a thing of going on dates and splitting the bill. Back home, back home, if the guy is asking you out and you guys are going to eat, I mean, you ask me out, you pay for the meal. But here, like, if he asks you out, you carry your Vex money, you carry because, I mean, he can be like, let's go Dutch, and you can't say, oh, you're the guy, because you'll be seen like, okay, we're in a modern society, like, common. And so those are like one or two things that I've noticed in like the dating scene. But all in all, I think I prefer dating here than in Nigeria, because you're not limited by societal ideas of what a woman should do or how a woman should behave. But I wouldn't say that you should let go of your values as a woman. But here you're more, you have a wider sphere
to operate. Yeah. There was a topic we had some other time, which we're not going to bring up here, about people living together without getting married. But let's just... What's your comments, man? Husband-wife relationship in this environment compare with in Nigeria?
Just like he said, I'm married a Nigerian, so to some extent there wasn't a big difference compared to what you would see. If anything, as a woman, you were a man. You are a man in that relationship. Yeah. As a woman, it seems to me that it's a little bit more on you here than it is in Nigeria, because I don't know about most families, but I tend to find more women doing homework with the kids.
Yeah.
and some of us make as much or more money than our husband.
Okay.
But the roles have not significantly
Changed.
or was not
Reflected.
at that level when I was married. I don't know what things are right now with the younger ones. But so in that respect, it's almost like a double standard where you're bringing in some of the bacon, so to say, but you're not getting something in return. So it's like you're doing the work being a wife, you're doing the work being a parent, where you would have had maybe, like you were saying, you would have a driver, you would have somebody to cook the meals for you, somebody to pick up the kids. You just go do your business if you're a business person in Nigeria. And that would have been the end of it. So to me, that was a little bit of.
I think your case, like my case, is a generational thing. The younger people are able to sort themselves out now. They have prenuptial agreements before they put everything down before they go into it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Anyway, we hear about online dating these days.
Yes.
What's your perspective about that?
I think just in the culture that we're in, it's kind of like the popular thing to do. I personally didn't like it. I have tried it before and it's just not really my thing. But I know a lot of people, it does work out for them. I know for Nigerians in particular, when they're on these online dating sites, it's easier, they feel more connected to other Nigerians through the app. So I know I've definitely felt more comfortable when I'm swiping. I'm like, oh wow, a Nigerian. Okay, I might go out, So as opposed to an American.
Wow. Okay, but I do make a statement jokingly here in the US. I said that in Nigeria, people say God will not drive us out of our husband's house. Home. But in America, God will not drive us out of our wife's home. There are two different things entirely, because anything happens, you call the police, you are the one that's going out. It doesn't matter how much you are paying. But what do you say?
Yeah, it's about the system. The system is designed as it is here. Let me say, to protect the perceived, for want of a better word, victim or anybody who can be abused. That person needs to be protected. And just to say that it's so children have to get the most protection, okay, and then anybody else who is kind of vulnerable, and not because women are weaker in any way, like our sister has said. Many of them bring in more income, and they have, they prove themselves in every way as equals. Okay. Now, in Nigeria, because it's more of a masculine society. Okay, let me go back to some of those things we talk about from a conceptual point of view. Nigeria is a paternalistic society. It's a masculine society, and as such, the system, let me say it that way, is favoring the male to the point that even when you both create the resource of the community of the family is almost seen as belonging to the man, and everybody else from the man's side can come in and lay claim to. This is my brother's resource.
I know.
So I think that is one of the, I would consider it even as a plus or a benefit for this society that recognizes that a marriage is a relationship of two partners, and that they are both invested, equal partners. They are both invested in making it what it is, and therefore should be equally it should be beneficial to both parties.
Thank you so much. Well, our time is fast spent, but I still want each of you to make a statement. Just one statement about how Christian values help us to survive this environment. Going to start? Just one statement.
Oh, the church has helped me a lot, and they're more like my family.
Amen. Amen. Vanessa?
Yeah, for me, I agree with him, because one of the first communities, the first ways I was able to build community when I moved here was the church. Like most of my friends and my friends today, they're all Christians, and I found them through the church or work through the church.
Thank you so much. Mom.
I think not just the church, just the ability to pray and believe in a higher being has made a difference for me and my family in terms of being able to deal with things a little bit more effectively and spiritually.
Okay. Any?
I would say that I was definitely able to connect more to my culture going to a Nigerian church. So I think the two are just very connected for me. I'm happy to be a Christian. I'm happy to be active in the church.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, our faith enables us to be grounded as we move from place to place. All right, you move from Nigeria to America. You move from one generation. Time changes, culture changes, realities changes. But if you have a set of grounded truth, Amen. Beliefs, values, it helps you to navigate changes in time.
Thank you so much. Well, viewers, you heard it all. My number one word: values. 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 That's what separates us from animals. So whatever society you find yourself, they have to be strictly defined values that have been tested, have been proven over the years. And the value that we can attest to is that of our Lord Jesus Christ. So if you are under the influence of my voice, I encourage you, no matter what challenges you are facing in life, try Jesus Christ and you'll be saved. God bless you. Thank you for your attention.